So it wasn't my first attempt to read the Silmarillion. It's probably my second or third. It's a challenging book because when Tolkien introduces a character or a race, he'll give you a name. And you think in your head, okay, now all I got to do is track that name throughout the rest of the book and I'll know what he's talking about. But he'll also say things like, the name for this people was, and he'll give you another name for them in the tongue of men or in the tongue of elves. So you end up with multiple names for one thing. And sometimes he uses them interchangeably. Is it Melkor or is it Morgoth? Well, it's really both the same character. But if you can't keep that in your head, you quickly lose track of what he's talking about. That's where the index in the back was very helpful, because I would be reading along, come across a name and not remember, is this a group of elves? Is this a particular character? And I would just flip back to the index and look. What was humorous about it at times is you read in the index an explanation for the word you're looking up, but the definition itself gives you more words you have to look up in the index. Some of it reminded me of Old Testament literature with all the names and sort of an overview of a story, not really telling you the story in the story, giving you the experience, but more like telling you about what happened. And then other parts reminded me of almost like Greek mythology. There's one story in particular that feels very much like a Greek tragedy. There's lots of interesting connecting points to Lord of the Rings and to The Hobbit. One of the things that is clearly missing is any explanation for where the hobbits come from. Now that may seem strange, but understand this book is telling about the creation of Middle-earth, at least at the beginning, and it's tracking how good and evil are battling it out in Middle-earth. There's an explanation for elves, for men, for dwarves, for orcs, for Balrogs, for Sauron, for Melkor. There's explanations for all of these characters where they come from, but there's no mention of or explanation of where they come from when it comes to the hobbits. Another feature of this edition that was really helpful was this map in the back. I was about halfway through the book before I realized I think you're supposed to leave it unfolded while you read. Because of the way it's glued into the back cover, you can read the book without covering the map up. It was really helpful to reference places in the narratives when there was a character moving through these lands and he would name the different towns or forests or rivers that the character came to. I could track on the map where the character was, and that kind of helped me engage the story even more. It's a testament to the depth of world building that Tolkien did for The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings.